Welcome back to the Wiretap. My name is Amiibo Jason, and on today's episode we have 4 stories to cover. So without further ado, let's jump right in and take a look. Alright folks, we're going to update a story that we actually covered 2 days ago on the Nintendo Wiretap. You might remember we reported that Nintendo of France had banned Dragon Quest's hero from competitive play in all Super Smash Bros. Tournaments from this point going forward. Well, if you're a hero main, this is going to be really good news for you because it looks like they had a change of heart. And according to an explanation given to Kotaku, it looks like Nintendo of Europe is going to be reversing that decision, essentially saying that they want to maintain a level playing field across all of its tournaments, so Hero is essentially unbanned. So it looks like the reason why this is happening is that they're concerned that other tournaments across Europe aren't banning Hero, so if they banned Hero, it would just make it kind of awkward for tournaments all over Europe. So unless Nintendo of Europe as a whole decides to ban Hero from competitive play, it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense for one country to do it. So there you go, folks. It looks like the shortest ban in the history of bans is finally over. And if you're a Hero fan, I'm sure you're celebrating right now. Personally, I'm not a massive fan of any of the competitive scenes in Super Smash Bros., so this really doesn't mean a whole lot to me, but if it means a lot to you, let me know your thoughts on this insane story in the comments down below. Alright, moving on to story number 2 today, we have something that I'm a big fan of, and that's going to be merchandise, plushies, things like that. Anything Nintendo and cute and plushy and soft, I love. So this story, I'm really excited about. And that is, of course, we're getting a very cute, cuddly Poochie All-Star Collection plush very soon. And by we, I mean Japan, but luckily if you are outside of Japan, you can actually import this thing right now too. So you might know this, you might not. Obviously, I'm obsessed with Amiibo. One of my favorite Amiibo ever is Poochie. I love the Yarn Amiibo, and Yarn Poochie has to be my favorite. He just looks so derpy and happy and cute. But the hardest thing about being an Amiibo fan is when Nintendo decides to pull the plug on the manufacturing process, like they did with the Poochie Amiibo. In fact, if you want to pick up a Poochie Amiibo right now, you're going to spend a lot of money. Way too much money. But it looks like you have at least another option if you just want to show your Poochie love. Now at the moment, if you want to pick this thing up, it's $21.99. It's expected to come out sometime later this year. And pre-orders are essentially staying open until October 7th. I have a link to those pre-orders in the comments down below, and if you use code NINWIRE at checkout, you can save an additional 5%. Shameless plug. Now, like I said before, I'm a massive fan of anything Nintendo and cute, so I'm definitely going to be picking this thing up pretty much the day it comes out. Alright, we hit the halfway point for today's news. Our next story today, we have a brand new trailer for Ring Fit Adventure, and it's actually pretty cool. So if you're keeping track at home, we're less than a month away from the release of Ring Fit Adventure, and to celebrate, Nintendo has dropped a new Ring Fit Adventure trailer that goes over the game in detail. So pretty much you're going to get a good idea of the basic exercises and concepts of the game. Now, I know this isn't necessarily a lot of people's cup of tea, but for me personally, I have a lot of experience with fit games, specifically the game Wii Fit that came out about 10 plus years ago now, I guess. I lost a lot of weight when Wii Fit came out, and it's really because of the tracking that the game had. It motivated me to keep going forward, and I really changed my life because of it. And this game kind of gives me that vibe as well, except it looks like there's a lot more to do. So I'm incredibly excited for this thing to come out. In fact, if you haven't seen this, we actually had hands-on time in New York earlier this week with Ring Fit Adventure. And like I said before, it's actually a lot of fun. So if you want to see our impressions on the game so far, we have a link to that article in the description down below. Or if you just want to watch this trailer, I have a link to that in the description down below as well. Now this one I really want to ask your opinion on. What do you guys think about Ring Fit Adventure? Do you think it's great? Are you just not really caring about it whatsoever? Let me know your honest thoughts on this one in the comments down below. I really think for a lot of people who struggle to work out, this might be a really good option, and I'm really excited to really see what this game can do in the long term. So stay tuned to Nintendo Wire for a lot more details on this one. We're going to be covering this one quite a bit. Alright folks, we're on to our last story of the day, and this one isn't necessarily a Nintendo story, but it's so ridiculous I really wanted to cover it anyway, and that is you can now play the first level of Cuphead on your Tesla if you happen to own a Tesla. Which, just quick disclaimer, I do not. I wish I did, but sadly that's not the case. So essentially what happened was Tesla updated their car's OS to version 10.0, and as part of that, they included Cuphead, that's right, the indie sensation Cuphead, as a playable game that you can play when the car is parked or you're charging. Now, I'm a massive fan of Cuphead, and I do like Tesla, so I think this is a pretty cool thing to do, but it's just so odd to see that an indie game such as Cuphead is making its way to a car's interior. But I guess it's almost 2020. The world's a very different place than it was when I was a kid, so I would love this kind of thing when I was a kid. Long road trips or just hanging out in the car playing Cuphead, I could totally see myself doing it. And to celebrate this release, Studio MDHR even released a brand new image of Cuphead and Mugman, essentially right next to a Tesla Model 3. What strange, strange times we live in. Alright folks, that's going to wrap up tonight's Nintendo Wiretap. I'll see you soon with yet another episode, but as always, until then, stay wired in. Bye guys.